If you catch me at the border, I got visas in my name. If you come
Welcome, all my conspiranauts, all my alt-right haters, all my progressives, independents, left to right. I don't care. Welcome to Beyond Classified. I'm your host, CT Rob, here with always, with my constituents, CT Steve.
Going on?
And my other constituents, CT Squid.
How you doing?
We got a great show for you here today. We got a new segment called The Firing Squad. We got Squid Files, but we're going to be talking about global warming, or might I say the hoax against global warming and the occupation of the alt-right. A weekend, and it already feels like it's 39.
Not even just that. I think it's like progressing as the days are numbering down for us to go to January here and elect our most prestigious president of all time. I mean, can we say and become
All right,
a
whoa, okay, hold on. We got, hold on. Before we jump into all that, I have a question actually. I always like to start these things off with a really unique question for everybody. Do you think zoos are obsolete?
That's a good question.
Do you think, because here's why I say it. So everyone knows about that gorilla, right? The gorilla that killed, that got killed.
Yeah.
Now, granted, that was very sad. I actually personally, was very saddened to hear about the gorilla dying. But then again, as a father myself, as a parent, I should say, I would have been like, you know what? Give me the gun, and I'll kill the gorilla, and you guys can blame me for that. Whether it was my negligence or not, or my child's curiosity, whatever, we can debate about that all day long. But the point is, I saw harm coming to the child, and I thought there needed to be intervention. I wish there were some other ways that it could have been done, but it didn't. But the reason I say that is because people were actually shocked by this gorilla. They were shocked by what the gorilla was doing to the child. Hold on. And then, I want to talk about, there was a zoo in, I believe it was Germany. I don't exactly know the location, but they basically chopped one of their zebras up. I believe they had a breeding program for zebras, and they were overdone with zebras. So the zebra was going to die anyway. So they actually killed it, chopped it up, and fed it to the lion.
What?
They fed it to the lion, and people were horrified. They were absolutely horrified by this. But hold on, I got more. So then there was another zoo that I want to say it was in Pennsylvania, where a deer actually jumped into the lion exhibit, and the lions got a hold of the deer. And you know what happened? They rescued the deer. They took it out of the pit, and people were horrified by this. And the deer died anyway at the vet. It died from the lions mauling. And the reason I ask, are zoos obsolete? When you see nature in action, even if it is a lion eating a deer, or them actually feeding a lion a zebra, which it would have ate anyway in Africa, why get so offended? Why get so offended if you go to a zoo to see these animals? What if you actually get to see it in action? Is it that horrifying? Or do you I paid this Discovery Channel to see that kind of stuff? I mean, where's the boundaries here? I mean, if zoos are meant to educate people, then why are people so shocked when these animals act like animals? I want to hear you guys.
Here's the thing. You're bringing up a good point, but then you're also forgetting the reluctancy of what it is. Like, zoos aren't gonna let me just tackle this. Zoos are never going to be outdated. Saying a zoo is outdated is more or less saying like our museums becoming more outdated because the internet. No. Physical research will never die, and zoos and museums are physical research. They will always be a currency in today's world because, yes, the internet has grown over. I mean, like, people don't think that the internet is what now, like 20 plus years, just about over 20,
almost, yeah.
something around that. So it's a little bit over 20 years old. So it's not that old. It's just relatively new. It's just we are evolving as humans, but also devolving as humans. And let me explain when I say that we're evolving as humans as far as our technology and research has rapidly increased worldwide, but we're also decreasing about what we are trying to control.
But let me ask you this rebuttal here. So you used to say that it's less because the internet's around, but the internet also makes people stupid.
Yeah, it does.
It makes people very, very
Right,
stupid.
But
That
hold
is
on, hold on,
okay.
hold on.
Go ahead.
It is making people stupid, but here's the reason why the research is also a bittersweet thing. The control that humans have, right? I'm not going to go into that. That's another topic, but we can all agree that humans have a need and a desire for control. We're never satisfied. So we need to control pretty much everything we do and all aspects if we can do that. With zoos case, in zoos we control those animals on a daily basis.
Do we?
We control what they eat. They control how they eat it. They control why they're eating it. So if a pedestrian or a civilian walks by
Or an animal.
they're mortified. Why is that lion doing exactly what it
But that's
was
my
made
point.
to
You
do?
come to a zoo to learn about an animal being an animal in the wild because you can't go physically see it in the wild, so they bring it to you. They're supposed to educate you. They say, "Hey, you know this thing? It'll kill you.
True.
It will kill you if it gets close to you."
I
Now, personally, okay, so go ahead, Squid. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I
What do you
did
think?
look up,
Do you think zoos are?
if zoos, I believe in zoos. I think we should keep zoos. They shouldn't. I don't think they'll ever be outdated because you see so many. Like I'm gonna go from an educational standpoint, like you're going with. Zoos are there to educate kids that are in like kindergarten through the ninth grade. It is a point to show them their habitats, where they are feeling like home, if you want to go with that way, and just to see like how this sort of animal would live in the wild.
Yeah, but not how it eats.
Well, yeah, exactly.
I mean,
not how
but
it
you're
eats
not
because
seeing
they
how it
don't
eats.
show you exactly what they eat. And I looked up that zoo that had that wild deer go into.
Oh yeah, what was it?
It was in Washington D.C.
There you go.
Or in Washington, not Washington D.C., but in Washington.
Now, personally, I think zoos need to be there. I really do believe. I believe they're like libraries, because
They are.
I think the internet is there's too much it goes unchecked. I guess you can say there's a lot of facts that go unchecked
It's
on the
true
internet.
that it does go on.
There's a lot. I mean, they just did a report on like the selection and how much. We're going to get into the internet discussion here a little more about the internet, how it played a big part in this election, and how many false articles were done by the so-called right side. There was way more compared to the left.
Right.
There was more false articles, basically, but the left still, but both sides do it. It kind of goes like what I was talking about the other day about how conspiracies are. There is no nonpartisan conspiracy anymore. It always is the right or the left. Conspiracies, they're against everybody. We're talking about the man.
Right.
We're talking about the establishment here.
Well, I mean, here's the thing about. Let me finish up my point.
Okay, go ahead.
About the researching. Swib brought up a really good point. It's because zoos were created for the childlike mind, and you can see these animals live. That's why we have field trips. We've all taken a field trip going to the zoo. That's why they're there. Now, it's also open to the public, but I guess whether or not to show them eating an actual lion, I mean, they can do that. Should they do that? I believe in some zoos they should. They should have disclaimers warning people, saying this is what they are like in
like
their
a
natural,
like in Africa.
like a safari.
Yeah, like in Africa.
Safaris
Where they-
are no holds barred.
Yeah.
That's pretty much, if you're looking. Zoos are pretty much city, inner city type of places
Yeah.
to have to see these animals live. Safaris are, you are in their environment.
Yeah, don't
You're
get
not.
out.
Yeah, you
Don't
are,
roll down the
don't
windows.
stick your
wow.
fingers out in front. You are going to see them eat a lion, and if you have a problem with that,
You mean eat a gazelle.
yeah, eating a
Or a
gazelle
zebra.
or a zebra,
There's not many things that
yeah,
eat the king of the jungle, buddy.
well, true, but there are some that do. But
Oh, crocodile.
but off
You ever
topic,
seen a lion, buddy?
I mean,
Lions take down everything, man.
They take down everything, including people in the safaris. That's why.
Oh, yeah.
If you want something like that, yeah, there are different ways and different different ways to going about this. But the whole rebuttal of the internet versus something like
but
that.
is that where your point was
Yeah,
clear though about the zoos?
yeah. Is the
So
zoos
let's
goes
finish that
back
up.
to the
You know, I really do. Personally, I think zoos need to be there because I think like libraries need to be there. I think there's too much. You know, there's not enough filtration on the internet. And I don't mean censor the internet.
education.
I just mean there's not as much fact checking. However, you do need to educate people a little more on animals so people don't freak out. So they don't. I know it's like horrifying. I know, but when you see these animals engage in animal behavior, don't be so shocked. You gotta remember that's a lion, man.
But then you got to realize here, and we're gonna get to this topic later on. But it go. This all boils down to the political correctness of what we live in today. And this is why I was talking about control.
PC.
Because the PC and the PC world we live in now, and which is why, love it or hate it, people voted for Trump. I'm not trying to get political here, but this is why people were pretty much done with the political correctness of control of I don't want my children to see blood. I don't want them to experience being bullied. I don't want them to experience being being in fights or etc. The whole thing, like Rob is bringing up a good point. We shouldn't get rid of libraries. We shouldn't get rid of zoos. We shouldn't get rid of the internet. These are objects that we have right now that should stand the tests of time, and they have throughout our entire existence because they're a form of knowledge. If we do that, knowledge already, as of it in its core of itself, is a hand and a leg to acquire. And if you take out the forms of the free educational benefits that we have, such as a library or a zoo, you're pretty much handicapping everyone to the internet.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a great point. I think that's a very, very, very good point. Okay, let's I guess we're all just salivating at the fucking topic.
Gotta get into it.
I guess. So it was the are you so is the internet was the internet the problem this year in this election? Do you think the internet because
That's a good question.
I hear a lot of people say, the internet's dangerous. It's created dangerous, dangerous movements online. I view the internet like a gun, actually. It's not guns kill people. It's stupid ass people with the guns that kill people. Just like it's stupid ass people on the internet.
Oh yeah, I was gonna mention that.
If you get your information mostly from Twitter and Facebook, you might be a retard. You might be stupid. Because you are in your own little bubble of news. The whole point of listening to shows such as ours is to get a different perspective. A different perspective that challenges your own. Why do you want to live in such a bubble for yourself?
Because that's what people do. They
But
live in a bubble.
that's the point, Squid, is like that's when it becomes that's why we're in
It
this
becomes dangerous.
that's why we're at in this that's why we're seeing nationalism now. Because the bubble that these people live in, there's so much fear. So much. And, like I keep telling people, we are Rome. America is Rome. We are. We are the great city. We are the light in the world. And sometimes I just think we handed the key to Nero, man. I do. I really do.
You know what? I actually do agree with that. I mean, I do think we are like Rome, and just like you said, that's just the nail on the. You're hitting the nail on the coffin when you said that. That bubble is within. You just saw it. You just see it in America now. It's divided more than it has been in I don't know how many years, and it's a scary fact because you're getting these people that live in bubbles that have all their news on social media. When we're getting back to the internet here, Facebook,
And
Twitter. That's all they're looking at. They're not challenging themselves. They're not researching themselves.
Like
Researching
let me
the
let,
topics
let me
for
let me give
themselves.
some people who are going like, well, how do I use the internet like that? How do I use it? Here's what I do, guys. When I see a candidate, for instance, I have no knowledge about, I immediately put his name in Google, and I look up his voting record. I look up whether his stances value my own. Now, if you seriously are going to sit there and tell me, oh, Trump's views are my own, then that I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I agree with him on his economic policy. I agree with him on, against TPP. I agree with him with that. I do agree about the corruption in Washington, but believe me, he's not going to get rid of this
He's not.
corruption.
When he talks about
he's gonna make that
flushing,
stronger.
yeah, when he's talking about
I just want to
flushing
say,
the
did you guys not see some of the recent headlines about Flynn's connection to Russia?
Yes, I did.
Oh yeah.
About, I don't know if, I was actually going to play it for you guys later, about Glen Beck talking about how, why are we in this pro-Russian European style? We want this European style politics. You laugh at that, but this is what. No, hold on, because I think it's funny, and this is something this is what I had the biggest problem with this year was the double standards, man. The
So many
double
double
standards this year were so benign. Is the only word I can think of. I mean, it was just. I can't think of anything so stupid. Like, for example, you want European nationalism for different countries, yet you don't want European healthcare? You don't want a European system that works? What? That's a double standard. So what does it mean? You're about race then, right? That's what that means. Well, guess what that fucking gets you? History has proven fucking nowhere. It gets you nowhere. It really doesn't. This story has been played out time and time again. You embrace nationalism, you get racist, and then all of a sudden you're like, shit. When did it all become all about the guys in power? That's all I'm saying. Go ahead, Squid. I'm sorry.
Well, but I was gonna go with what you guys were talking about, and with everybody just going to Facebook and Twitter and just not looking up their facts. Little personal thing with me. I had my uncle on my friends list on Facebook, and he lives out in Texas, and he is
squares from Texas.
He is one of those right-sided teacup or tea party.
Teacup. He's part of the teacup party.
Yeah, teacup. It's what I call the tea parties, the teacup. He's part of the tea party kind of system, and he believes
the tea
so
party
much.
system betrayed their cause the minute they stopped talking about Ron Paul. Sorry.
No.
It's not even. That's not a theory. That's a fact.
Yeah.
They pretty much, they're done after they turned on themselves, which was predicted years ago, but it's happened.
Back to the whole internet thing. Like I was saying, though, I just believe it's like a gun. It's like, you can use it for good, you can use it for bad. But the point of the fucking matter is that people do not use it for the right reasons. They go on sites like, Breitbart and Infowars. And as much as I used to like Alex Jones, I'll just say he's full of shit. Now, he's full of shit. He really is. He's full of shit. He's full of shit. I don't even think he does his homework anymore. Because what I see Alex Jones doing now is, for example, here, let me give you an example. You can go back and look at it on his show. There was a point where he was like, if you don't want nuclear war, don't vote for Hillary. I don't want to die. I don't want... And it was like that week, they were talking about how Donald Trump spoke about nuclear weapons 4 times on Hardline and all this yada yada. So, dude, do you just take every single attack that the libs do against them and just reverse it? Like every single attack and just flip it on its head.
We're talking about Alex Jones at this point. We are talking about a crazy man. I mean, this man right now is... I mean, what else can you say about what he's done?
He's not a conspiracy theorist.
He's not a conspiracy theorist. He's a pretty much, he's just become another
evangelical preacher.
Preacher who's just talking about frogs being gay. The water turning frogs gay. Can you honestly take that man seriously in 2016? And the answer is yes.
Yeah, you can. You really can.
I'm going to go with what you're saying. And we're going to get into this subject too. Because, what I want to go to is what you were just talking about with, Trump. Trump is basically a monkey with a loaded handgun.
I prefer orangutan.
Well, I'm going to go with that. An orangutan with a loaded handgun that he's just going to point willy-nilly and just fucking fire. And if that bullet hits you, you're fucking dead.
I don't know, guys. Because I really hate discussing it. Because one of the things I've noticed, and I really hate talking about it. I really do. Because everyone's like, anytime you bring this point up, everyone just turns their head. They're like, oh, you can't say that. But guys, come on, man. It's sometimes you gotta look at it like this. I see so many correlations between him and Hitler. So many. So many you can't deny sometimes. Like, for example, did you know Adolf Hitler? There was a part where when Adolf Hitler first started speaking to the Germans about things, he would put a sign up on the door that says "No entry for Jews." That's how he would start off his rallies. What does that sound like to you? The Mexicans,
The Muslims.
the Muslim, they're bringing rapists. They're bringing this. Immigrants are all of a sudden the enemy. Did you hear what he wants to do now? He wants to do rallies. He wants to do rallies after he wins president.
True.
He wants to just do and the first thing that came to me was like Adolf Hitler. I was like Adolf Hitler, and he embraces nationalism. I mean, and like one of the things that's really interesting is when you hear other people talk about him. They're like, he has so much he speaks so much about America. He speaks so much about the American way and how it's going. Hitler spoke the same thing about Germany. How, Germans honor how we had to get back from the defeat of World War I. They had to make Germany great again.
Right.
They were going to rebuild their military. Does that not sound familiar? They were going to get rid of all the cancer, all the immigrants. Does that not sound familiar? They hated gays, they hated Jews, they hated gypsies, they hated blacks.
But
they shouted Leuvenpress at the lying press just like they do now.
Rob, you're forgetting what I said before. Going back, because this isn't about Trump right now. This is about our topic was the control and the political correctness. It is like water and vinegar. I mean, right now, political correctness as we are filming this right now is dead.
It's dead.
Their days are numbered.
I said this from day one.
Gone.
The age of apology is over.
It is.
That's why I'm so I don't want to rag too much on some of the other guys like I follow. Like for instance, I'm just gonna say
this must be said though.
This must be said. For instance, like TYT. I love him. I love him. But there is a certain
love and hate.
There's a certain correspondent on there right now that I'm absolutely fucking sick of. And you know why? It's because, dude, if you think that Hillary was the lesser evil of Donald Trump, you're fucking retarded. You are. You're stupid. You're basically sitting there saying, well, this guy probably won't do any harm, but I don't fucking know. Because you don't know. You don't know what will happen. And the other thing too, I'm starting to think you're not really a progressive. I'm actually starting to think you like to sit on the fence. You like to sit on the fence and make judgments at anything the Democrats or the progressives do. And then you want to sit there and go, well, we should just start a new party. We should just start a new party. Where's the manifesto, bro? Why aren't you starting it then? Why aren't you on the Green Party side? Why aren't you fucking starting a ground game? You know why? Because you're full of shit. I have never been ashamed of hearing about another guy who smokes. And I know he knows exactly what I'm talking about, who smokes pot.
Yeah, you don't have to say his name.
I don't want to fucking say his name because I'm not fucking angry. I used to be a big fan of his until he would sit there and rag so hard on Hillary. And I am not a Hillary supporter, but it gets to the point of when, and I hear this on TYT, and if they hear this, I hope you guys know, you guys are the ones that made people not want to go out and vote for Hillary. It was people like your correspondent that didn't want to make people go out for Hillary. You sit there and you go, well, the problem was that many people just didn't come out to vote. Because of you! Because you guys sat there and were like, she is this, and I get it. Being a journalist, I totally get it. And I was happy they did that coverage. But the other guy, the guy I'm talking about, nothing but just the dumbest bashings. And like I told him, you become the left-wing Alex Jones. You were like Alex Jones without fact-checking, without knowledge, and you're just sitting there making assumptions on bullshit. You were not right about the election at all. Why? Because I seen it on your face. I seen it on your face when you were doing the election. Like, you're like, oh my God, this is actually the reality. And then you want to have the audacity to come out there and say, oh, the progressives are doing this wrong. Dude, Bernie cannot do every fucking thing by himself. Bernie cannot. He can't. He just can't.
He's one man.
He's one man.
He's one man.
And I'm sorry that every politician has some dirt on them. Grow up and get the fuck over it. If you don't get the fuck over it, we could just put more Donald Trumps in the DNC then. Would that make you happy? Let's just grab some fucking random progressive asshole who's never done anything in his life in there? Is that what you want?
This is how see, I hate talking about it, but he's an example right now. We're talking about Donald Trump. This is how he got in. You looked at all of everyone was digging up every type of dirt that he has done in the last 30 years, correct?
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. Didn't mean nothing.
Tapes,
Didn't mean nothing.
pornos,
Didn't
didn't mean anything. We literally had people saying, is this going to sway your vote?
No.
No, it won't sway my vote. He is saying all the misogynistic things he can against women, grabbing them by the pussy, etc. Will this change your vote? No, it won't. No. And you know what happened? They stuck by their word. They didn't say, oh my God, Donald Trump, he said this, I'm not voting for him. No, they stuck by their word. They've been saying this for half a year, and they executed. Now, again, I'm not, just like Rob said, this is not like liberals versus Republicans versus Democrats. No, this is right and wrong. People go out and they voted for what they wanted. You can't get upset about that. That's their right.
Not the majority of people.
Not the majority of people, but people did.
Yeah, they did.
This people that went and was on media that were like just saying it out loud. You were laughing in their faces. Oh, how can you vote for them? But they did. You go to those same people that were opposing that. Oh, I didn't vote. I just didn't know I don't know who to vote for. Why didn't you vote? I just couldn't make that decision. I didn't want that. So instead of not voting, you're going to judge the people that did vote, and then you're making YouTube videos. I can't believe it. My country, you betrayed me. Your country, but you didn't vote.
You didn't vote.
So you're not only did you not factor, you're just a nothing. So you can't get mad about these people that they're so crazy, they're racist, yeah, maybe so, but they expressed their vote. If you really wanted those people out, you should have voted. I don't care if you voted for Jill Stein
or
Gary Johnson. It would have been a vote that was valid in any sense of that word. It would have counted.
There's something that confuses me, and maybe you guys can help me on it a little bit here. I keep hearing the argument that Jill Stein and Gary Johnson didn't help Hillary lose. Yet, like, you go to hold on, you go to a state like Colorado though, where Hillary won, and they're saying that it's because Gary took votes away from Trump.
True.
How does it work one way and not the other?
Yeah.
How does it work one way and not the other? Now, I understand trying to protect the Green Party and the third party, but guys, I'm dead serious. Someone explain it to me. How does it work one way and not the other? How can you seriously say, well, Hillary won because Gary took, he took votes away from Trump, but then you go to Florida and you're like, well, Trump won because Gary took, Gary Johnson was in the poll.
Yeah.
You don't say anything about him taking votes away from Hillary or the possibility of it, or Jill Stein. How does it work? And I keep hearing they just keep blaming the Green Party. And what do you guys? I'm serious. How does it work one way or the other? That's the double standard.
That's the double standard.
I think that's double standard again, guys. And I'm speaking of. I am an actual lib, progressive, whatever the fuck you want to call it. I'm actually a socialist, but that's the way I fucking view it. It's
on
like
paper. Yeah.
On paper, yeah, I'm a fucking socialist. But seriously, how the fuck how does that make sense? That doesn't make any sense to me.
And see, to me, I do not blame Jill Stein.
I don't blame them.
I do not blame.
But
Gary
I'm not
Johnson.
gonna seriously sit there and say that. I'm not gonna fucking fight math.
Yeah,
right.
And that's the thing. You cannot fight the math on it. I mean, like I was telling you, was in our first show, Jill Stein got 1 million votes in the presidency. I mean, I'd have to look it up, but I'd have to see if that's the first woman to ever, or Green Party candidate to get 1 million votes or not.
I don't know about that.
Well,
I
It didn't really mean anything because they didn't get any federal. They didn't get federal funding.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
So thank you for wasting that vote.
Yeah.
Well, and
It was, I apologize. It wasn't a waste. Like I said before, I like Jill Stein a lot.
She was a good candidate, and she wanted Bernie to take over.
All right, we'll be right back, guys.
Sometimes I think sitting on trains. Every step I get to, I'm clocking that game. Everyone's a winner, we're making our
Hey, welcome back to Beyond Classified. Alright, we're going to be talking about global warming. Now, guys, the reason we even have this segment on this show is because apparently now, by, I don't know what you would call it, popularity,
Yeah, popular.
the idea of climate change is, it's fake. It doesn't exist. It's a hoax. Made up by left-wing extremists and organizations that just want to make money
True.
off the carbon tax. I learned this from you, Alex.
I mean, yeah, it's just, honestly, at this point, are we just going to just say, you know what, all those hundreds of scientists that have dedicated their lives to this research.
But what about the
Actual
scientists that didn't? How many? You tell me the percent of that.
True.
What's
true,
what's the percentage of that? How many scientists actually agreed upon that climate change is real, and how many denied? Huh?
I will tell you right now, less than 50%.
Less than 50.
Less than 50%. But let me tell you this about what's going on. As Australia right now, which no one really talks about, is suffering and hemorrhaging from these global changes year after year after year. There's nothing that's changing there, right? We're talking about all these forces that they have, the coral reefs pretty much being destroyed. Oh, that's not that's nothing.
You mean Great Barrier Reef?
The Great Barrier Reef is. Let me just tell you right now.
It can be seen from space.
It can be seen from space. No, that's not real. No, you can't believe what you see on the internet. You can't hear or listen to what you've seen from these political scientists that have said, listen to me. This is a big issue. And I know we're talking, like I sound like Al Gore over here, but I am for global warming. I do believe in it. I'm not one of these people that think it's just another conspiracy.
But it is. It is. It is a conspiracy, right? I mean, come on. I mean, just look at look at the evidence. I mean, look, like for example, I looked up a lot of these independent researchers, a lot of these independent studies. That's where I started on this topic. I looked up independent studies because I was like, that had to be it. That had to be it. If anyone could tell you the truth, it had to be an independent.
Of course.
But so what about those independent studies?
Those independent studies can be written by people in their basements. If you're reading those, then you are a fool. You must know facts. You must learn from your mistakes. You must go from people that were just actual scientists that have this field, that have been doing it for a long time, that have facts. I'm talking about biologists like Stephen Williams of James Cook University has said this in Queensland. Today, still running yearly to observing plots in the West Tropics hemisphere, the Great Barrier Reef can, in fact, as you just said, can be seen from space. This is on factual knowledge. I'm not pulling this up as like, oh, I just heard this from. No.
Where are you getting that from? MadeUpMonkeyShit.com?
Oh, MadeUpMonkeyShit.com. No, listen. I'm getting this from worldviewglobalwarming.net. This is, if you really want to know, now don't take it from me. I'm getting this straight from scientists. Okay, this is all about here's another a topic that I have right here. The reef is also increasing the feelings of effects of as the oceans absorb most of the CO2 being released into the atmosphere, fossil fuel burning and other humans' activities, upsetting chemical balance of corals and shell-making animals rely on. Scientists are actively measuring how heat and acid fermentation changes the health and growth rates of coral tanks. Experiments like the work from Dr. Sophie Dove at Heron Islands Research Station.
But guys, that's just one. That's one part of the world. How could you guys say that global warming is? I mean, the world. It's not heating up. The world's not heating up.
I know. I mean, all these things that you've seen about
seriously,
record-changing temperatures that have been climbing since 2005 to 2016 has changed at a dramatic rate of 35%. We are getting hotter by every 2 years. Now, the state that we live in, Arizona, right? It's a hot state. It's
the devil's asshole.
Yeah, pretty well. We live right there in the desert center. We are used to heat. It
Valley
changes.
of the sun.
but on an average, it has changed dramatically over the years. I'm talking about 15%. It's gotten much harder. We have dealt with our highest. Now, this is
Highest winner, right?
the highest. Yeah, the
Very
highest.
sure.
Yeah.
I'm
like
not, you know,
last year-
I'm playing devil's advocate here, guys, but even I know that.
Yeah, but let me just say this. I'm talking about factual knowledge here. 2 years ago, we had our hottest winter in Arizona, right?
Mm.
It was at 115 degrees in the wintertime.
I remember that.
In the wintertime. Now, I've only been in the state for almost about 10 years. Now, I'm used to the hot. I never really got used to cold out here. It's still right now. We're in the fall. It's not that hot, right? I mean, it's kind of...
It's cooling down now.
It's kind of cooling down. It's
But, you know,
cooling down,
I will
but-
say it was, when I remember, I've lived here most of my life, and this has definitely been the hottest winter I can remember.
True. I mean, we're getting to this point where if you're not gonna like just not listen to research, that's fine. But we're only one state. This is again.
Let me stop you right there. I want to talk about, again, double standards that come in. I made this point to one of my buddies. I said, "Do you believe in evolution?" He said, "Yes." I said, "Why?" And I said, "Because, you know, I'm on the fence about it sometimes. I don't believe it's the complete answer. It is an answer, but I don't think it's the complete answer." And he's like, "Well, because some of the biggest scientists in the world say it's true." I'm like, "Well, did you know that some of the biggest scientists in the world and most, you know, brilliant scientists in the world say that climate change is true? Why don't you believe that?" That's a double standard. How can you sit there and say you believe, you know, most of the scientific community on evolution, but you don't believe most of the scientific community on climate change? I don't understand that. But, you know, I have to add some things and I have to tap in here. I told you guys, what about the independent studies? Well, it's funny, when you come to the independent studies, do you know who backs most of those independent studies? The oil companies.
They have to.
They have to. Well, really, do you know that there is a majority of the Senate is paid off by these oil companies?
Oh, I
Most of the
would
Republican Party, actually.
I would not doubt that for one single bit. I mean, these oil companies they rely on U.S. senators to back
Climate
them up.
deniers.
Yeah.
Back them up and say, no, that's not true, that's not true. And while they slip their hand back, they get paid from these oil
Yes,
companies.
they do.
Just put it into their pocket and go off.
Sometimes I worry, guys. I worry in a situation, like I really worry in a situation. And let me play out a scenario for our listeners here. So there is a meteor coming towards Earth.
All right.
You're meeting with the president, and you're like, you know, I got this idea. I think it'll work. We can save humanity. We can, you know, be the big heroes. And he sits there and he says, "I just don't think we have the money to do that." I believe that's a real answer nowadays. I really do when it comes to certain things. Is you know, it's about the money.
Yeah.
It's always been about.
If there was a
It's about
giant
the money.
rock hurling towards the Earth, these guys would say, "It's just not cost effective, guys. It's just not cost effective."
Or let's see what the UN thinks about it.
They will be standing there trying to keep their money warm while they lay naked in the snow and die, when realistically all they had to do was burn the money for warmth. That's how some of these people are. Some people, they're like lions, man. But not all lions eat flesh, bro. Some of them love money. Some of them crave that money. And I hate to say that, and you know, I once had a friend ask me, "So you believe every politician, you know, most politicians have their hands in the back of things?" And I'm like, "Yeah, dude, I do. I do honestly believe. I believe there are some that are actually, you know, true to their word and they back their views, but for the most part, most of them lie." But, you know, we're getting a little topic here with global warming. You know, another thing I would like to add, too, is I don't know if many people know this, but I'm not talking about surface temperatures of water anymore. There is actually research being done right now in the deepest, darkest parts of the ocean, where temperature does not fluctuate, or it shouldn't fluctuate, and the temperature is rising. Are you going to deny that? You know, there are permafrost, ancient permafrost now that are melting. Ancient permafrost. Think about that. That's a permafrost that's been around since.
We're talking at least more permafrost. If you don't know what that is, permafrost is equivalent to a think of a fossil. So They've been around for at least 100+ years.
And now it's melting.
It's melting. This.
They find polar bears drown
well,
in the ocean because
polar
there's
bears are becoming extinct because of it. They can't feed.
Yeah.
They feed off of seals.
They're actually adapting to eating dolphins. I've been told. I've been hearing.
They're adapting, and that's actually killing them.
Eating dolphins.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's
they've been
killing
diving in the ocean to try and they catch dolphins. They wait for a dolphin to come close to the surface.
Interesting.
Yeah.
They do not have the means to live off of their reserves anymore.
Yeah, off of seals.
The seals are adaptive. They will they will leave when the winters are about to end. The polar bears do not. They're
year round.
one of the largest mammals on this earth.
They are. I think they are.
And,
no,
but almost they almost was because there's only a handful of them left. I mean, at this point,
there's only a handful of polar bears left. There's a handful of tigers left. There's a handful of elephants left now. I mean, I don't think people really, when you really, I mean, and I'm asking with wholeheartedly in the most un-assholish way possible to anybody who thinks climate change is a hoax. Do the research, man. Look it up. There are other things. You know, one of the interesting things that somebody caught me on once in an argument was the ozone, but what about the ozone layer? The ozone layer is healing. And I was like, yeah, that is true. And I didn't even think about it then. I actually went home and looked it up. It turns out that has nothing to do with global warming.
Nothing to do with it.
The ozone layer was damaging because of harmful chemicals in the sprays that we had in our hairspray products and other products.
Carbon
dioxide and all that shit, basically. And we passed a bill that ended that, and that is why the hole in the ozone layer is healing. Now, well, hold on. There, right there. That just proves that that proves the point of human intervention on something. Them themselves have proved against their own point that climate change is fake, because they're just seriously saying their argument is, well, the ozone layer is it's healing. Well, yes, because we stopped fucking doing shit as people, as humans. We took a step towards fixing the problem. Yeah. Wow. It's that double standard.
It's the double standard, and it's the bubble combination, which applies to almost everything you can think of. Here's the thing that you just, I mean, you
guys,
just think about
I when it comes to theories and conspiracies, I leave my political affiliation at the door. I really try to. I really do. Some things it's hard to. I admit that.
You must keep them open.
But I must keep an open mind. But guys, I don't deny science. I've never been a guy that sits there and I'm like, you know what? My Republican elect says climate change is a hoax, so I think it's a hoax. I have family members that think it's a hoax, man. And I sit there and I talk to them like, how do you think it's a hoax? Oh, I have family members that voted for Trump, but
I think we all have.
Yeah.
Seriously, how can you sit there and deny these things? Are you that narcissistic?
I think
that you think that you have no impact whatsoever on anybody else but yourself?
It's the fear.
It's the fear that it's real?
I think it's the...
Or the fear of change.
It's just fear, period.
I think it's a little both.
It's just fear of, just like you said, I think it's a little both of, I think they know they're right, and they fear that. And why accept something when you can just turn your back to and act like, no, I didn't see that.
But my point I'm over here trying to make is they deny the conspiracies right in front, which is what makes our job so easy now. Because you guys sit there and you go, it's a hoax, it's a hoax. Yeah, if you look and do the research on the people that are telling you it's a hoax, they are paid off by oil companies. I cannot find really one research that when I researched this, I looked at both sides. I could not find one single argument against climate change that didn't have the oil companies' filthy fucking muddy hands in it. That is a conspiracy. But you push that away and you say it's a hoax.
Well, and see, I just found this too, and like we're doing climate or with global warming.
Yeah, with global.
To me, and this is just a little scary too. Climate change has been called the greatest scam in history.
You know,
in history.
I want you to look up right now, because I don't have it with me. Look up the companies that are actually in favor of climate change. And you know, this is something I actually was with another conspiracy theorist that I know. He really, and I try to prove him this with this point. I said because you know he was one of those guys. Okay, it's a hoax, it's a lie, it's this and that, blah blah blah. But I was like, bro, there gets to a point where not everybody's wrong, and not everything is a conspiracy. When you have a majority of scientists, companies, well, not I shouldn't say companies, but organizations that are nonpartisan like NASA, giving you this information, you need to listen. You need to take off your bubble earphones or whatever the fuck you have and step out of your bubble and listen.
But not only that, I mean, it's not even just about listening. You have to learn. Learn from what you see in your day-to-day. Now, if you're not going to do your research on this and you're doing your homework, that's fine. But just think about, here's the companies that the major companies. You want major companies, right?
Organizations,
okay,
yeah.
So what do you think is the major company that we use today? We're using Google, that's one.
Yeah.
Right? We're using Facebook on a daily basis,
Yeah.
that's one. The consumers, you know, one of the most popular beverages in the world today, Coca-Cola.
Mm.
These are just some of the these are just the bigger names. There are 81 in total, by the way.
Oh, they're against climate change?
Yeah, they're against it.
Google's against
Yes.
it? Wow.
Now, we're just talking about 81.
Google's also against privacy.
Well, that's another story. But we're talking about just one of their things. Why would you think that they would do this? Because it's threatening. It's much easier to deny anything than it is to accept and be held responsible. Because if you are a major company like Google, major company like Facebook, major company like Coca-Cola, you are going to be not only
all those companies,
ostracized,
shady
you're
behavior.
going to be victimized, you're going to be shredded. Apple is another one.
Wow,
You are going to
Really?
be destroyed as a company. And it's so much easier to hold on and say, yeah, I don't know either.
Well, we were taking a side on this show, and we believe in climate change. Why? Because we don't deny science. You know, because I know what you're saying. Oh, you guys are listening to the liberal scientists. You guys, no.
We feel.
No.
I mean, this year, February, was one of the warmest Februaries in this country.
Why are animals dying off? I mean, seriously, why are a lot of majority animals dying off? Answer me that question. Because it's the cycle of life.
Well,
Is it?
Is it?
Is it?
Animals going extinct is the cycle of life.
Is
now,
it?
animals die on a
Is that evolutionism?
animals do. But I want to go back to last year. Arizona had the coldest winter in the entire United States. And in Washington, D.C., they had their famous trees, and orange blossom trees.
Mm-hmm.
They were already budding in November and December.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that doesn't happen until the spring.
And see, many people would see, global cooling. It's not getting hotter. It's getting, and see that's the whole point, guys. Is it doesn't it affects different areas on the earth.
It does.
It just because if you're a state that gets hot, for instance, and all of a sudden if you start getting an insurmountable of rain, that's different. That's different. That's different. Our monsoon came later this year here in Arizona. It did. It came later. That doesn't regularly happen. It's been getting later and later and shorter and shorter. Guys, that doesn't just happen. It's not like the planet's cooling. No, it affects different areas, guys. That's a reason. There's the oceans in certain parts are dying, reefs are dying everywhere. It affects different.
We're talking
Oh, yeah,
about
a
some
lot
of
of
the
scientists are trying to keep reefs going on because reefs are dying and dying and dying.
Yeah, and that is that's another argument in and of itself, whether or not scientists should tamper with some of the world's greatest wonders. But we're talking about, just like you said, some of these corals are being damaged and dying. These scientists are intervening with the circle of life to keep that alive.
Yeah.
They're giving these warnings. That
They're not trying to hurt big businesses. God, like one of the things I had an argument with a guy, and like I said, I think we need to do something about coal. We need to get off coal. He's like, you're gonna put a ton of coal workers out of business. I looked up on that. Actually, it's quite funny because of big businesses, because of these coal businesses that don't do regulations, there's actually a lot of placements in effect now that can help make coal more clean. There's actually processes now, but guess what? It's not cost effective
Of course
to build these purifiers or whatever they want to say for coal. It basically helps the coal be less dirty.
Yeah,
And out of
coal.
the 99 coal companies that are being planned for this year, only one has this improvised in
One
it.
has the
Only one.
coal.
And see, I hear you're gonna put a lot of those coal workers out of business. No, you could revamp the business by putting them to work on how to do this new stuff. You could revamp it.
Wouldn't that be cost effective for them to do that?
I think it
It
would.
would, but there's the double standard, and
Of
there's
money.
of money. It's not that we're not talking out of our asses here.
No, we're not.
We're talking about people just not wanting to just acknowledge the truth.
They won't acknowledge it.
They won't acknowledge it. How can you say that when you go outside? Oh, it's hot. It's winter. It's hot. That's weird. How can you deny that? I just don't understand how people. I mean, this is just my perspective. I don't understand when people like big companies. I understand you need to make a profit sometimes at all costs. Corporations are cutthroat, especially global corporations, conglomerates.
ExxonMobil, for example.
Yeah. For example, how can they say no? We're not for that. We're actually trying to repeal this bill against it. This is why I'm not going to get too much into it, but this is why we're talking about the bubble effect, and this is why if you stay in your bubble, you don't have to you can look outside the bubble, but you don't need to interfere with it.
Yeah.
I see what's going on, but I don't need to put my hands in that. I don't need to get my hands dirty. These coal miners that are working their lives, yes, they've dedicated their lives, some of them, to these companies. They're not gonna have a job after this. Just like TT Rob said, why not just train them again,
Revamp the
end
company.
this, and revamp the company, make it more efficient? Yes, you will lose money. It's true, you will lose money.
But not.
doing this.
I should point out, not the workers.
But not the
Your
workers.
CEOs will lose money. That's so funny. I've just heard so many ridiculous arguments, but I can get into another one. Anyway, go ahead.
Or actually, for this, and what you were talking about with companies in this, the Koch brothers or
Koch brothers.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
Koch
the
brothers.
Koch brothers, yeah.
They have sent $88 million directly to aid groups to help deny climate changes since 1997.
How can you deny these numbers? How can you say that it's a conspiracy when the real conspiracy is the people that are peddling that it's fake? One of the things I heard, and I thought about this a lot, one of the biggest things I heard the alt-right talk about was Al Gore. They were like, look how much money he's making. Look at how much money. Yeah, you made some money off a film. He did a major film. So the fuck what? Your Steven Seagal hero does fucking films and makes money off them? Hey, who fucking cares? He made a little money. Guess who else made a little money? George Bush off oil companies.
He did.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. A lot of your politicians make money that way. There's just a lot of double standards this year. Like the whole now Trump's walking back on the fence. Sorry. Listen, I'm sorry. Sorry. Fuck. We're not getting it. Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet, anyway. So, again, why is it a hoax, though, guys? I mean, we're talking about it here, and we're presenting some evidence here about why it is a conspiracy, the hoax against global warming, I say. If you don't believe us, look it up, guys. If you don't believe us, look it up, man.
Listen, we're just people. We're just people talking.
I'm
If
not
you
a
don't
bird.
believe it, if
I'm a
we-
lizard.
If you don't believe us, that's fine. Listen, we're just people talking, but we're just giving you the facts that have been presented for years here. And not only just years, but we're talking about things that are occurring now.
No.
Now. This isn't happening. It happened 15 years ago. This isn't happening 20 years ago. Or had what, 200 years ago? We're talking now and the year 2016 going forward into the future. It is changing dramatically.
Yeah.
Seasons are changing dramatically.
There's charts to show it, but you know, to them that's a war
That's
shack,
another- but
man.
that's another-
That's a war shack,
Yeah,
man.
that's
You
another
take what you
workshop.
want from it, bro.
You're scaring people, just like you said, Rob. Why is this a hoax? Because money. Because
It's a hoax because of
fear.
money. It is on a
Because-
show like ours right now because of money, guys. We have the ability to sit here and talk about this and give you guys a different perspective on it because it's labeled a conspiracy now. And it's about the money, man. The money has pushed it into the realm of conspiracies.
And when it's a conspiracy, you're automatically crazy.
Yeah.
You're automatically known as, are you backing that conspiracy?
Mhm.
Oh, then you're just another one of those crazy people.
Really? Because those crazy people just took the White House. They were all the alt-right conspiracies, man, forever. I mean, come on now.
With the double standard, though.
Double standards everywhere, bro. That's all I can say about this year. Is it's the year of the year where apology is dead, PC is dead, and double standards rule. Backless. It doesn't. Facts don't mean anything really.
Hold your tongue. Are you kidding me?
Well,
Did you guys ever find the organizations that are actually for global warming? The
I
ones like
haven't
NASA, the
Well,
EPA.
Yeah, NASA, the VPA. There are other sub companies such as some of the gas companies like Shell, but there's not many. That's what I
Actually,
that's what I'm saying.
I
there's a
think that
small
list is small, but that list is powerful, guys. You're talking okay. The reason I looked at this before we even got this because again, you know, I bone up on a lot of this. You know, like NASA, the EPA, I don't know all the names exactly. The organization that deals with the ocean, for instance. You know, the fucking the weather, all those people that the atmospheric institution, whatever, those fucking companies, guys. These guys are professionals in these fields. They don't blow smoke up your ass because they get paid extra to do so. They don't. They really, really don't. Do you think the guy in the Oceanic Institute is there going, you know what? I think we gotta get people to pay attention to us more. What are we gonna do? You know what? Fuck it. Let's just say the fucking oceans are warming up. Fuck it. You know what? Let's create a calamity. We'll get people fear. We'll have some candidate do some fucking bullshit documentary on it. We'll reap all the benefits from it. Really?
And not only that, but saying that the same thing for years didn't change what they were saying.
No, didn't change.
These forces are becoming very, they're drying up. These rainforests are drying up. These coral reefs are pretty much being destroyed.
Animals
The
are dying
oceans-
for no
The animals
reason.
are dying. The oceans are warming up. Saying this for years, not changing it. No, they're not.
Oh.
Do you know why it's easier to deny than it is to accept? Because denying is just so much easier. It's just a flick of the wrist. You can deny.
Guys, from what I've learned from our new president, you shouldn't let no stop you from getting what you want. Because sometimes you just gotta grab it by the fucking
You
pussy.
gotta.
And that's why we're grabbing this fucking conspiracy by pussy right now. Alright, we'll be right back.
trains. Every step I get to, I'm clocking that game. Everyone's a winner, we're making our fame. Bonafide hustler, making
And we're
our
back with the new segment we like to call the Firing Squad. Alright, for our first person on the firing squad, Glen Beck. Beck. Oh, Mr. Beck, I have to admit to you, I've never felt so ashamed, so disgusted. So much have I never vomited in my own mouth than I know that I am on your side. I'm on the same side with you right now, and that is horrific. But I'm really upset though with you, Mr. Beck, because lately I've been seeing you in the news go, sanctuary, sanctuary, sanctuary to any political party that will take me, please. You know, Glen Beck has really, have you guys seen his set that he made? It's the Oval Office. And like the fantasy White House he must dream that he's in, he is watching his White House burn down to the ground. Glenn, you created Donald Trump. You created You created him. You are Dr. Frankenstein. You forever stole, and I will give credit where credit's due, you forever stole from Alex Jones. You took his theories and you turned them against liberals and progressives and Obama. And you sit there now and you wonder why your base thinks you're weak. They think you're a turncoat. They think you're stupid. Glenn, you have created your own nightmare, and you're going to have to live in it. And while you scream sanctuary, sanctuary, we'll give you sanctuary here on Beyond Classified, but we'll give you sanctuary on the firing squad. Aim! Fire! And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, with everybody's favorite segment, the Squid Files.
It's time for Squid.
Zippers are among the highest penile trauma to a male in the United States. 2,000 men a year come down with such trauma to their penis. This comes from the American Urology Association from their 2016 annual meeting. And that is the Squid Files. I don't know how you can be able to get your penis stuck in your zipper, but I am not among one of those people.
Good God, though, I had no idea about that squid. That's crazy. That is absolutely crazy.
It happens though.
It happens, but as a guy, I guess I could say that has literally happened to me maybe twice because it's painful.
It's painful.
It's a traumatic memory.
It's not even traumatic. It's one of those things like, you know, when you get like kicked in the balls, you're just like, you don't feel that initial pain first, and it just is like an overgrowing pain. It's like as soon as you zip it up, you're like, oh fuck, I just
For
myself.
me, it's more like when I zipped it up, snagged it, I was like, never again.
Yeah. And that is why CT Rob goes commando every day.
I do. In fact, ladies and gentlemen, I do. I free ball everywhere. I do. Can't help it. Dude, it's nice in Arizona, man. Who doesn't want it?
It's just a right. Can this be a law? No.
I actually learned from a great deal of many ladies that, hey, it actually shows a little more contour in the crotchal region, I should say.
and the freedom.
And
just the freedom.
And it's my American right. This is America. I can do what I want. I don't have to defend myself to you two. If I want to walk around fucking no underwear, I will, goddammit.
If I want to just throw my hand down, just feel just a pool of sweat, bring it out, just that is the American way right there, ladies.
Oh, okay.
Just feeling yourself on a constant basis.
I thought you were referring to me. I was like, is this what you imagine my crotch area is like?
And if it's true, are you? That's my right. I have that right.
Well,
That's your right.
That's like a.
We're in America.
That's an Al Bundy situation right there. Leaning back, sticking your pants right there. You're American right.
It's your American right, baby. I'm just saying, like smoking weed and drinking alcohol and smoking cigarettes, man. It's your right.
I think we're pulling back the curtain too much about that. We're all just right now just three guys
pulling back
up.
the curtain and talking about penises and zippers. Pun.
No, listen. Is it weird that we're just three guys right now, naked, sweaty?
Oh, you guys are naked? No, yeah, dude, what?
The zipper. It happens though.
That does happen. It does happen.
And it's so scary though. When it happens,
can I say
scary.
the 2 times that has actually happened to me? You guys really want to know the 2 times that has actually happened to me? And ladies, don't get angry. It was when a woman zipped up my zipper.
Oh,
yeah.
no.
Yes.
That's actually true though. It's never happened to me when another person has zipped up my zipper, another lady. But I will say it is kind of scary because they do it so quick.
Yeah,
they don't know.
They don't know how to do it.
You girls don't know.
Before you try to adjust yourself, they're already like halfway up. So I've had some close calls where you have to get that thing out of the way. You're just like, what the hell?
Damage control, buddy.
Yeah.
Damage control.
You do some serious shit right there.
Yeah, you really don't want to, man, because I don't think... Oh, God. I know every guy right now listening to us is like, man, these guys are spun.
They are grabbing
on
themselves right now. They have to be. You have had to grab yourself and be like, yeah, that's happened.
Yeah, that's happened to me. That is a subject that has probably happened to at least like I'm admit like I said twice to me, but it's only happened when a woman has zipped up my zipper. Never have I done it on my own.
Even if it happens on your own, just the initial.
Maybe I'm just more careful
Yeah.
than most.
I will admit, it's almost happened to me, and that you do have some trauma from that because you're always worried. Holy shit!
Well, Squid, I think you have trauma from it because you actually probably did.
I've come close. I've come close. I will say that.
He's like, I've come close to cutting the circulation off.
Not so close to actually having major trauma to it, but it's gotten the.
Jesus.
It's gotten close to like to the foreskin. I'm like, oh shit, no.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I see
that's
what
right.
you mean.
Yeah.
I can see where that is.
Squid has a cocoon.
Oh, really? Oh, damn, man.
On radio, you're gonna do that.
Hey, man, some ladies like that, man.
They do.
They get off on that
They
shit.
like that.
Point them Squid's way. Ladies, the Squid is single. He is single and available.
So if you
So if you like squids and tanks with suits, he might be right up your alley. But you're gonna have to help him. Apparently, he doesn't know how to zip up his penis in a fucking zipper.
It's horrible.
That is probably one of the most scariest squid files I've ever heard. Squid. I mean, that was like as scary as watching the movie Teeth.
Oh,
we gotta go there.
that. Do we
Now,
have to go through that movie? Jesus.
Your face says no, but your pussy says yes, crunch. Sounds like a commercial, doesn't it?
It does.
Oh my god.
If you guys haven't seen Teeth, is the most scariest
Disturbing.
It's disturbing
movie for
to me.
males.
For males.
Any man that can watch that movie and say that wasn't scary.
And
More power to you, buddy.
I remember the first time I actually saw that movie. I was picking up CT
Your penis?
So funny, but no, I was picking up CT Ducky, and we were gonna come out and hang out with you. And him and his girlfriend at the time, they were watching this movie. And I'm like, what the fuck movie are you watching? And he says, oh, it's Teeth. I'm like, what the fuck is Teeth? Oh, he's like, oh, this girl.
For many of you who don't know what Teeth is a movie about a woman who has vagina dentata. Vagina dentata is an actual, I guess, a Greek thing in which a toothless kind of monster lives in your vagina. And basically, the myth is that you have a monster in your vagina and you got to get the man, the champion, to knock the teeth out. That was literally the story. I don't know what you guys are watching, but that's what I saw.
Yeah.
Is that not the plot of that movie?
It's the real
Gotta
plot.
knock the teeth out.
The plot is it's a woman with a vagina. She has teeth in her vagina. It's very scary for men, but I will say this: if that didn't scare you as a man, I don't know what will.
Teeth in a vagina.
How scary is that? You're not gonna anticipate that. You're in the moment. You insert it in. Boom.
Chomp.
I mean, we're not talking about zippers here.
No, we're talking about shark teeth
We're
tattoo.
talking about shark type tooth. This
Razor
ravaging.
sharp.
Vagina tentata. You know, that should be one of our episodes. Is vagina tentata real? Ladies, if you have vagina tentata, please call us and let us know.
You know what? But
Email us.
But Rob, is that worth it though? Is it worth it still to get it chomped though?
I don't know.
Risk
I don't know
versus
about your
reward
guys'
system.
confidence, but I'm a champion. You know what
You
I'm
go
saying?
in. It's a risk reward. You know it's coming, and you're just like, I gotta try it.
Hey, that's the thrill, baby. Some people gotta live on fucking edge, man. Some people live on edge, bro.
You think about if you do. I mean, you go in and you don't get scarred. You are men among men at that point. You go in and you're like, not only did I get some, but my thing is legitimately steel.
It's a champion.
Yeah.
It is the knight that rode through the bowels of Babylon to knock out the teeth of the fair maiden.
Oh my god.
Pirate democracy. Yeah, I got more records than the KGB. So, no funny business. You already are.